Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to yet another edition of Football Center with Goma. So it is Tuesday, and every Tuesday I bring you the football updates. What stories are making the headlines in the back pages of the newspapers and magazines. Today, I'm going to let you guys in on the know on where the various football leagues stand as they plan to follow suit and as they plan to follow in the footsteps of Germany and Portugal, the two countries that have resumed their domestic league. So without wasting any more time and without a lot of chit chat, let's jump straight into it. First up, La Liga returns. Spanish domestic football edges closer to return after the Spanish government gave the thumbs up for football in Spain to return from June the 8th. Today, La Liga President Javier Tebas is aiming for an official return date on June the 11th with a derby game between Real Betis and Seville. Clubs in the top two divisions of Spanish football have already begun preparations for the return of the league. Players were allowed to return to training in groups of 10, the measure being taken to allow the players to integrate slowly back into football, but at the same time battle the coronavirus pandemic. Now, before the league was halted and suspended, Barcelona were topping the league with 58 points, 2 points above Real Madrid, who had racked up 56 to the point. Now there were 5 points separating third place Seville and seventh place Valencia, while at the bottom of the table, Mallorca, Leganés, and Espanyol filled out the relegation zone. So before the coronavirus pandemic decided to call a halt to Spanish football and football all around the world, that is how the Liga table looked like. And with 11 games left to play, well, there could still be a shift in that table. So what is going on in Italy? The Serie A is making plans of their own to return to football as well. It's been reported that 16 Serie A clubs have voted in favor for a June 13th league restart, with the other 4 Serie A clubs voting for return to football the following week. Now, in case Project Restart is a success, the Italian Football Association expects the league season to be completed by August the 20th, with the Coppa d'Italia coming to a conclusion by the end of August, which will pave the way for the start of the new season by September the 1st. And in case Project Restart comes crumbling down and is halted once more, a new format will be used to determine final standings, with possible playoff games being played to establish the champions, European places, and the relegation. Now, just like in Spain and just like in England, Serie A clubs have been given the green light to return to training. We've seen the players of different football clubs return to their respective training grounds and try to get back the shape and fitness that they need before the officials make the final call as to when the league will be back. And finally, where does the Premier League stand? Perhaps the league that has taken the most cautious steps in return to football has to be the English Premier League. They've gotten only as far as phase 2, which includes returning close contact drills into training, even which a phase that hasn't still come to full effect just of yet. Now, this week a number of meetings are going to be held between the Premier League officials and respective Premier League clubs to discuss phase 2, as well as the health and safety measures that they're going to take in trying to keep the players safe from the coronavirus during close contact training drills, as well as when the Premier League actually does restart. In addition to that, the issue of a return date is to be discussed. June 19th is being looked at as a possible date by the Premier League officials. However, it's been reported that various Premier League clubs are going to try to vote and have the date pushed to June the 26th, so that their clubs and players may have appropriate time to prepare for the season to restart. Now, perhaps the most important issue on the agenda is going to be the contingency plan. What if Project Restart is a failure? All right. And in that contingency plan, they're going to try and come up with protocols and measures as to how they will decide, teams being promoted, teams being relegated, the European places, and that sort of thing, in case the Project Restart comes to a complete shambles. They have to come up with that plan, and that is in the agenda this week as well. Now, before I wrap up the Premier League and where the Premier League stands, the Premier League players have been the set of players that have been the most apprehensive towards a return to football. From what we've heard is that most of the players still have unanswered questions, and that's why they're half-hearted towards a return to the football pitch. The Premier League is trying all they can to come up with answers for the players, at least try to answer their answers to perhaps a 50% or 60% standard that will be just enough for them and enough to convince them to come back onto the football pitch. And that is where the whole problem still is. But eventually I do think that the Premier League will have that sorted, and the Premier League by either mid-June or the end of June will be back on our television screens. So that is where we're at. That's where the various football leagues are at in trying to restart their seasons and trying to catch up with the Bundesliga, Portuguese domestic league, as well as the K-League. Well, the Bundesliga has returned some sort of confidence into the players returning to the pitch, but that won't be enough. Various leagues are trying to come up with an atmosphere that will be conducive for the players to say, all right, let's have a go at this. Let's see where this goes. But until then, they're trying to come up with the safety precautions, come up with the protocols that the players are going to be comfortable with, because what works for Germany may not work for England. What works for Spain may not work for Italy. So they all have to come up with their own specific protocols that the players in their leagues are going to be comfortable with. So that is where we're at. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. But one thing that I can say is that football is returning. The Bundesliga is already on, and I'm pretty sure that the Italian Serie A, the La Liga, and the Premier League aren't far behind. Okay, there might be a little loopholes here and there, but eventually they are going to have those filled, and they will be back on your television screens. So thank you for tuning in into today's video, and with that, I'm going to wish you a very good day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.